everyone and welcome to this week's vlog. So this week we're going to be preparing and training for some dressage because next week we've got the last instalment of the Forest Edge Dressage League before the actual championship, if that makes sense. And then the following weekend we've got the Anvil Park Stud Championship, which Donny's qualified for. And then I think there's 1 week in between that, and then it is the Forest Edge dressage finale. And then the dressage will be done and we'll be moving into showing, hopefully. I am about 7 or 8 weeks away from my due date, so it is obviously all depending on how I feel. But yeah, I really want to crack back on with the dressage after having a few weeks of just sort of hacking, doing groundwork, working on other stuff. I mean, we've still been doing lots of schooling, but today I really want to practice my dressage tests, perfect my riding in them, and just have a play really. So if you've been following us for a while, you'll know that our goal has been to get to 70%. So I've basically got 3 more chances at hitting 70%. We've got so close, like 68, 69. I think our lowest score we've had has been 66. And yeah, our highest was 69, literally through the whole league. All the dressage we've done at all the different locations, the scores have been that close. But I just really want to go in and wow. We are currently winning the Forest Edge Dressage League, but you know, anything could change. So I really want to up my game. I really want to just hit 70% at Prelim, and it would be really nice to win one because I think we've come second about 4 times now. So yeah, I'd really like to win one. So we're going to get Donny out, have a play with him in the school and do some dressage divaing. So I'm not going to lie, things are getting harder and harder as I'm getting closer to my due date. I feel very tired. I probably look very tired, getting more sickness, feel very heavy. But I actually feel my best when I am riding. When I'm walking around and stuff, I'm very waddly. Can't do as much as I could before. As when I'm on the horse, I feel like I can almost be me, apart from being a little bit out of breath. So we're going to run through Prelim 2 and Prelim 3, which are both going to be the tests in the next upcoming weeks. I haven't looked at the Anvil one, but the other ones are Prelim 2, Prelim 3. We've been working quite hard on transitions, getting him more engaged behind, trying to get him to lift and use his core strength more. Can we not be rude? Yes. So yeah, I'm hoping that you guys will see an improvement if we run through some tests today. And if there is something that you see today and you think you really need to work on that, yeah, please add it in the comments. But yeah, if you can add it in the comments in a nice way. If you don't agree with what I'm doing, I get fairly offended at the moment because I am very hormonal. So if you do think perhaps he's overbent or something, just write it in a nice way, please, because I am a little bit hormonal at the moment. But yeah, we're gonna get him groomed, get his tack out, get ourselves on and just have a nice day doing some lovely dressage training. So I start off by actually doing quite a few warm-up exercises just in walk, getting him to walk forward, getting him to stretch, and then I do like lots of walk trot transitions just to get him off my leg. Here I am, I've just started to trot round. I really wanted to focus on keeping my hands up and still, because I jiggle them about a bit. So I want to keep my hands still, but at the same time, when he leans on my hands, I want to release them but without moving them, if that makes sense. So he doesn't have the contact to lean on. I'm also trying to make him a bit more engaged and active behind, keeping him moving forward. He just always feels quite fast, and then when I look back at the footage I think, yeah, he really isn't going fast. I love doing like leg yield and shoulder in work to get him warmed up as well, as it just gets him up off the bridle. Like I want him up in my hand and going forwards, and he's actually quite good at lateral work. I also quite like to get him just off the leg, both forward and asking him to move away from my leg, and not just the inside leg but the outside leg as well. The one thing that I think I've definitely lost is a bit of core strength. I'm definitely a bit more like wibbly wobbly through the top half of my body, and my lower leg, I don't like how I'm like kicking every stride. So I think I need to work on definitely riding more in my show saddle, having a longer leg length. It is definitely better here, but not kicking so much and tapping him up a little bit more so that I'm not working so hard. I really like doing shallow loops, 3-loop serpentines, lots of circles, getting him bending, getting him supple. I definitely find once I've got him bent around my inside leg, I have his shoulder together more. I just have him more connected between like my shoulder, hand and leg, but in an upwards way rather than him like pulling down. I do have walk breaks in between each session, but obviously that's boring, so we've kind of cut out the walk breaks. So yeah, I'd usually do like my trot work, have a walk break, and then start the canter work. And I start off with just having a canter on the left rein, which is his better rein, and a canter on the right rein, and then doing a few transitions on both the left and right rein. I'm actually really happy with how he did that downwards transition, but I definitely find the more I get into the session and the more quicker I get him off the leg, he rushes the downwards transitions more. It's much easier actually if I get him to go canter, trot, walk, because then he goes sort of relaxing. He's not waiting for me to ask him something else. His transitions have improved hugely, and I'm much happier with the quality of the canter, both on the left and right. It's much more up and steadied, which is what I've always wanted to do, but I still think there's a long way to go. And when I have had my baby, I will definitely start introducing some transitions from collected canter to medium canter and working on our gallop, because that's something that we do need to work on in the show ring, because hunters are renowned for having a big, powerful gallop. And I'll go and do that out in the big field behind the menage, but at the minute it's not worth the risk, so we're not doing that. We're just working on general schooling and keeping at prelim level. Yeah, like you can see, his transitions are so much better, but he does become a little bit unbalanced sometimes through them, especially on the downwards transition from canter. Like there, he just gets a bit heavy, and then when I bring him back to walk, he's much better.
Circles, you make me dizzy. She's probably so faster, Bobby, faster.
So this is the prelim 3 test, which is our worst test, and already I started off with a bit of a boo-boo. I turned slightly early, even though we are coming straight down the centre line. The actual turn itself was early. I'm happy with this rhythm. Yeah, he's in a nice rhythm. He's using his back end. He's in a nice frame. He's soft. And this is like this little loop bit, which is part of the test. It's like ride a 15-metre loop and then go back to the fence line. And I was really happy with the start of this test. I thought it was very accurate. I definitely think I kind of lose my rhythm after I've done a bit of the canter work. So this is a circle with a give and retake the reins over X, which I think is fairly clear. Yeah, and again, I'm happy that he maintains his rhythm even when I give and retake the reins. I've just got to watch that my hands don't start to jiggle. And here is another loop. I'm just really happy with watching his back end as well from behind. The way his sort of tail's moving side to side. He's soft, he's relaxed, he looks supple, he looks happy. Yeah, and back to the fence. Again, I feel like when I do a lot of these dressage tests, they kind of start quite well, and then after we've done the canter work, it sort of all gets a bit messy. Another give and retake, which really happy with. He's just lost a little bit of engagement behind. I feel like I need to just push him on a little bit more, but keep the rhythm the same. I'm happy with this change of rein. I think it was very straight and accurate. And then my walk transition here, just ever so slightly late. It's not horrendously late, but ever so slightly late if I'm being fussy. And I think for a medium walk, this could have more purpose. He definitely argues with me a little bit more in the walk, but I think that's because he wants me to give him a long rein, and that's when I jiggle my hands. So this is the free walk on a long rein, which is usually his best marker. He gets the highest points doing this, but I definitely think we could have more. I think he could take the stretch much further down. I think the walk could have more regularity and purpose. Then we'll go back into medium walk before picking up trot. And for me, I think there needs to be a clearer difference between the medium walk and the free walk on a long rein. Here's the trot, which again is ever so slightly late. I think the transition is supposed to be at F. And here we're going to do a circle and canter on the right rein first, which the right rein is his worst rein. And we're going to do a canter transition. It wasn't like super crisp, if that makes sense. There was nothing really wrong with it, but it wasn't like boom. And I definitely want the transitions to be more like as soon as I touch him, he goes. And that first half of the circle, I'm trying to keep him up, if that makes sense. And his canter can go a bit like 4BT because I've got the handbrake on, but this just feels so fast when I am going round. This is the hardest bit for me when I canter across the diagonal, because he does become very unbalanced, and that's when he drops onto the forehand, and I almost have to put the handbrake on in the corner. But I think from where we're standing, where like my mum's standing filming, it's not that obvious. And I managed to get the rhythm back before asking for the left lead canter, but that transition was loads better. And I'm much happier with the actual rhythm on the left lead. I definitely don't have to work as hard like holding him together. And I think my circle was a little bit of a funny shape, but in the canter I feel like it all just goes a bit messy. And here, this is so hard when I have to change across the diagonal, but this doesn't look, it's just here, that's when he goes da 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 and rushes, and I need him to literally go whoa. And there you can see me almost half halt him in the corner and say slow down, because this is a circle on a long rein, letting him stretch, and I daren't let him go, if that makes sense. I daren't let him stretch because he feels like he's going too fast. So it's a shame that I definitely lose marks there. And again, I've turned too early down the centre line, even though I am coming in straight. There we go. And that's a pretty good halt.
What's Jamie?
So we've just finished our dressage schooling. We ran through the Prelim 3 and the Prelim 2. Overall, I'm so happy with how he's going today and how much he has improved in his transitions and things. It wasn't perfect. The downwards transitions are still an issue from canter because he gets quick and heavy in my hand, and he just leans and pulls through the bridle. So I need him to sit up. So if I had walked him after, like cantered and then come down to walk, it's almost then he goes, oh, sort of gets himself back together and then we go again. But in the test we don't have time, so it's like canter, trot and then something else, and then he's just hurried, and that's the only thing that really lets him down. But it's just core strength, and we've just got to keep working on him, because obviously when I pull on the reins and say whoa, then he becomes more overbent. So it's teaching him to be more respectful of the seat and whoa when my butt says whoa, and also getting him to become more engaged and sit on his quarters more. But overall, he's been a superstar and he is becoming so enjoyable to ride. I literally just love riding him. Thank you. So I feel like I've had a really, really good session today. I've got like a mucky moustache, a muck moustache. Yeah, I've had a really, really good session with Donny. I just really enjoy riding him, which is the main thing. Hopefully we're both improving. I've been trying very hard to keep my hands up and still, but they're definitely naughtiest in walk and canter. Yeah, I think just keep going. He's a big horse. He's been kind of like my most difficult long-term project. I've always had ponies, well, Finley's 15-1, but yeah. And ponies seem to be so much easier because the arenas are so much bigger. They don't have these massive strides. As he's a big Irish draught, he's very heavy and lummocky. He's not like light on his feet. Like some of the middleweight hunters are more like a warm blood or thoroughbred mix, and it makes them a lot lighter on their feet and much more easier. I used to ride like some dressage horses and they were much lighter, as because he's such a big horse. It's like teaching an elephant to do ballet. That's what it kind of feels like. But he feels amazing. His transitions are much better. Everything's much better, but there's still lots more work to be done. I'm very excited for next weekend because I haven't been to a show in ages. I think it's been like 4 or 5 weeks since I did the last dressage, and it's obviously it's at Forest Edge, which is my favourite of the venues. So yeah, it's Prelim 3 next weekend, which is our weaker test out of the 2. And then I'm not sure what the one is at Anvil, but they've got some quite good prizes at the Anvil Championship, I think. So it'd be really nice to go there and win a prize, even though we haven't done their league all the way through. So yeah, and then I tell you what, guys, I am so jealous of everyone out showing because I just want to be out showing, but I need to have this baby first before we go out showing. And Donny needs to be perfect. Like, I want him to be the best ever, so that we have the best chance going into those qualifiers. So I hope you've enjoyed today's vlog. A bit more short and sweet, something different. Please like, comment and subscribe, and I'll see you all next week.